Hi, welcome to Street Priest Ministries. I'm your host, Brother Jay, where we're taking the Gospels back to the street. Today's drive-through message is, it's the law. Turning your Bibles to James 2:10. Now, if the devil can't get you to turn into a lawless anarchist that tramples on everything sacred, he'll like to turn you into and have the pendulum swing in the opposite direction. A Pharisee Maximus, a super legalistic freak. We're going to study, I promised you, we study the law a little bit today, and we're going to get into it. So, James 2:10 says, "For whosoever shall keep the whole law, and yet not offend in one point, he is guilty of all." Now, what James is saying is, all the law hinges on itself. The law demands absolute perfection, from birth to death, 24/7. There is no missing. A miss is good as a mile. And we all are born in corruption and sin from birth. So it's impossible. God never intended man to keep the law. He intended to display the law, show the law, which is 613 precepts that you read about in the Pentateuch, the Old Testament, not including all the kosher laws and all the other laws that's in the Levitical code. It's impossible to keep that standard. Only one man that ever kept that standard, and his name was Jesus Christ. Because the law that he was the only perfect man that ever born, lived, and he died for us so that we might have access to the throne of God. Only one man. As James has said, if you don't keep all the law, and the law is falling down on you. If you're under the curse of the law, in the Greek, it's a word that means it's constantly pushing you down to hell because the law demands perfection. It's only one person that can get between you and the law, and that's Jesus Christ. And that's accepting him by faith, and your faith is credited to righteousness. And you're out from under the curse of the law at that point. Now, we're going to turn in the Bible to Exodus 19:9 and see what Jehovah himself had to say about the law. See, that's the devil's greatest trick, to get you out of grace and into the curse of the law that's descending on you. That's going to drive you into hell because you can't keep that set of standards if you wanted to. That was Satan's deception in the Garden of Eden, telling them you'll be like gods, knowing good and evil. That's the law. The law is good and evil, knowing it. No, you won't be like God. It'll show you how far away you are from God's perfection and his glory and his standard. It's like I'm about 5'9". And let's get the tallest man in the world, whatever he is. Let's say he's 7'8". So obviously this man towers over me. But in relationship to the sun, which is 93 million miles away, what difference does it matter? That's God's glory compared to us, and us comparing ourselves to one another. Now, in Isaiah 19:9, let's read what God says about the law in his standard. "And the Lord said unto Moses, Lo, I'll come to thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever, And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go unto the people, and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the third day. For the third day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon the mount of Sinai. Sinai, the mountain of sin. God says sanctify. The word is a root word of the word hagios, to set aside for a specific task, for God or for a deity. And you know how they got sanctified? Moses came down with what's called a hyssop, and they dipped it in lamb's blood, and they splattered it on other people. Splat on you. 2.25 million people got splattered with blood, symbolizing you can't even come into God's presence without what's called in the Hebrew copper, the cover. So that was just a temporary method to say, just to even get in God's presence, you've got to be covered by the blood. Without the shedding of blood, there should be no remission of sins. And that lamb was just a substitute until Christ was the giver, which is the Lamb of God slain from the foundation of the world. Now, let's read on. And be ready against the third day. For the third day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. And thou shalt set bounds unto the people. So rope off the mountain. He wants this mountain roped off. Can't even get close to God's perfection. And thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about, saying, Take heed to yourselves, that ye not go up unto the mount, or touch the border. You can't even touch the border. Only Moses was allowed access to God, not even Aaron. Unto the border of it. Whosoever touches the mount shall surely be put to death. God saying to get close to his standard and not be able to keep it, you're going to die. So all you self-righteous super Pharisees out there that think you're close to God's standard, you would have been one of those that died thinking you can touch the mountain and have access because of your simple version of what you think perfection is in God's law. You would have been killed. You shall surely be put to death. There shall not a hand touch it. You can't even touch the rope. Just ropes around the mountain, much less touch the mountain itself. Perfection, my friends. You can't get close to it. But you shall surely be stoned. Or shot through. You're going to be shot or stoned. Whether it be beast or man. If an animal just happened to wander over into God's mountain while he was up on it, the animal's killed too. The animal's either killed or pierced through with the sharp object, spears him. It shall not live. To get close to God's perfection and not be perfect, you shall not live. What do you not understand? When the trumpet sounded long, they shall come up to the mount. Only when you got splattered with that blood did you have access to even get close to that mount. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people, and sanctified the people. And they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, Be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives. Don't have sex. No sex. No. So, no sex before you see God. And he said unto the people, Be ready against the third day, come not at your wives. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceedingly loud, so that all of the people that was in the camp trembled. I've said it over and over and over. I can't tell how many times. When you get close and really understand the greatness of God's glory and what a puny, pathetic sinner we are in his presence, you will That's truly humbling. You will tremble. To encounter God, you're like an ant looking up at an elephant. They had the right response. They trembled. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God. And they stood at the nether part of the mount. And Mount Sinai was altogether on smoke, because of the Lord descended on it. The Lord came down on top of this mountain, and this mountain was on fire from the Lord's presence alone. Now, Ron Wyatt, who I've definitely given a lot of credit for, God's archaeologist, as I said before, repeatedly has discovered this mountain, and I'm going to make sure I get a link this week so you can look at this mountain, how scorched it is, still to this day on top, from God's power and His glory descending on this mountain. That's a fact. It's a historical fact. God came down on this mountain. And Mount Sinai was altogether on smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire. And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain quaked greatly. The power of God coming down on this mountain shook the whole mountain. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long, and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and God answered him by a voice. And the Lord came down on Mount Sinai, on top of the mount, and the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount. And Moses went up. And the Lord said, Moses, go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord to gaze, and many of them die. God said, if you even get close to this mountain, I'm going to kill you. He kept saying it repeated, because God deals with repeatables, because people, sheep especially, I've taught on that, get that teaching. The Good Shepherd and other analogies from the four great prophets I know, noted already. We're dumb sheep. Sheep wander off, go astray. And if they go astray and touch this mountain, I'm going to kill them. God keeps saying it over and over again, because He knows how we are. You know, somebody want to, hey, I want to see God. You can't, oh, I want to see Him. Splat, you're dead. And the Lord said unto Moses, go down and charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord to gaze. I don't want you looking at me. And many of them perish. To see me is to see death, because that's to see God standing in His perfection, is to see death. You can't even stand in His presence without the covering of Christ. And let the priests also, which come near the Lord, sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break through and kill them too. Not even the priests can get close. Only Moses. Only Moses had access to God. Only Moses, but not even Aaron. So all of us will be in the same boat. And Moses said unto the Lord, the people cannot come up to the Mount Sinai, for thou chargest, saying, set bounds about the mount and sanctify it. Said it again. And the Lord said unto them, away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, thou and Aaron with thee. But let not the priests and the people break through and come up unto the Lord, unless He break forth upon them. So Moses went down unto the people and spake unto them. I hope you got a pretty good graphic picture of what I'm stating right here. To get close to God's standard and not be able to keep it is death. There was 613 precepts in the law, not including, like I said, all the kosher laws and other Levitical codes. Is impossible to keep. Impossible. God was driving you to what the book of Habakkuk said, the just shall live by faith. And God credits our faith as righteousness, not keeping the law. And many people, and false prophets, and they come in many shapes and forms, have misguided people into thinking that they can keep this standard. Now we're going to turn to Matthew 5:17 and see what Pastor Jesus had to say about the law. Let's go to Matthew 5:17. Okay. to see what Pastor Jesus has to say. Now, this is Jesus talking himself. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy the law, but to fulfill. Christ was the law incarnate. Like I said, he's the only one that kept that standard. The law he was the end of the law. He came, the law incarnate. He showed you what God's perfection should look like. He's the only one that was perfect. And he died for us in our place because we should be on them crosses, not Christ, and bear our own sins and have the wrath of God poured out. But he took our place. He's our vicar, the substitute. Christ is the vicar. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass away, not one